I don't know why StreamYards keeps killing my background. I have to keep going in and fixing it. How's everybody doing tonight? You doing okay, folks? I'm doing pretty good. It's pretty chilly out right now. And the storm of the century is apparently heading our way. But it's not here yet. We don't even know. I'm always I'm always very suspicious of big supermarket, big milk and big bread when it comes to forecasts of when it comes to forecast of snow. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna fix this really quick. Let me get my background in here. There we go. There we go. How's y'all doing? That's much better. What's going on, Mordred Kane? How have you not gotten a wrench yet? Let me fix this real quick. Hadn't seen you in a while. Hope your Christmas, hope your New Year's, Thanksgiving. Hope all that's been great. I'm trying to remember the last time you were in the chat. It's been a while though, but glad to see you here. So, yeah. Well, we've got all this big fancy stuff now, Mordred. Has it been a year and a half, really? I mean, I knew it's been a while, but man, I didn't think it was that long. Let's see. There we go. All right, you got the wrench now. I just put the wrench in there just to kind of give you a little bit extra functionality, and because sometimes YouTube does things like mess with people's screen names, and I am a boomer. Who knows when my when my senses will completely fail me and I'll forget people. I'll remember that you've been here before. But I didn't think it'd been a year and a half. Wow. So I hope the last two Christmases have been great. I hope that you've been doing all right in the meantime since we last seen. What's going on, Nico? What's going on, Alias? Folks following uh moving in, settling in for the evening. All right. Sorry guys. Doing a little bit of navigating through here while I wrench people. Fancy stuff. Nothing fancy stuff, nothing. We built the tower to reach heaven, and how well did that work out? Well, now you got to press 1 for English. That's how well that look, it's people don't think about think about the ultimate consequences of that. Well, good. I'm glad that oh, wait, hold on. About to get your catechumen classes coming this February. Wish you luck. Will do. Will do. Catechumen orthodoxy uh or Catholic, Roman Catholic. Okay. Glad that you are well, February's not that far away. I won't wish you luck. I'll wish you God's blessings. Because I know that'll be better. But congratulations, sir. Um, and you know, if I had any type of hand in that, I'm thankful for it. And glad to again, once again, glad to see you here. All right. Well, anything big happen? No. Nothing since yesterday. No real things to small talk about. We're just getting back in the grind and back into our readings, back into Ezekiel, and kind of what I'm thinking that I'm seeing from Ezekiel. Now, that's not to say that Isaiah and Jeremiah aren't personal, but just kind of what I'm reading, there's just a more I don't know if it's just the writing style and the perspective that Ezekiel brings. It's just a little bit different flavor because it feels so much more visceral for him. And maybe, and again, we were talking last night about how we weren't sure how old Ezekiel is. There's a little bit of a of dis- not I won't say discrepancy, but discussion on whether he's 30 or 13 when he gets this vision from God, and some of this stuff comes to him. Maybe his age has something to do with how his writings affected. Maybe it's just the fact that he's a different dude altogether. But it just feels a little bit more personal. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He did live during the Babylonian occupation. He gives a little bit different. So we know Isaiah. He's kind of, hey guys, it's going to be a while before we do this, but clean up your act now, and the stuff that's going to happen in the future might not. They don't listen to him. Then Jeremiah's like, hey, the hordes are coming. The hordes of Babylon are coming. Not the whores, but the hordes. What's going on, Veritax? Hordes of Babylon are coming. They're gonna take over here. They're gonna run right all over the Middle East, and we're all gonna be punished by God. But if you fix your problems now, we can avoid all this. They don't listen. They throw them in a well, and they don't listen. And so you get a little bit of the occupation from Jeremiah, from the remnant. And Ezekiel is with the remnant. We've gotten a little bit with him from the remnant, but what I think ends up happening with him is he ends up with the exiles, and kind of him talking to the exiles and basically taking some of this stuff and bringing it to him, be like, hey, I know y'all been spanked pretty severely, but it wasn't, not that it wasn't well deserved, but the Lord does love you, and he does want to bring you guys back in. He wants y'all to be redeemed. So why don't y'all start acting like, you God's somebody you care about and want to put your faith in, and do the right thing and try to act righteously, and repent from all this nonsense. Because what we were talking about last night, and we're going to talk about it more tonight in chapters 7 and 8, is just how wicked the Israelites are. And we've been really talking about this. We've been talking about this, I feel like, since Judges. So it's just it's just the same thing. And we could draw parallels. I've been kind of irritated. I'm a Virginia resident, as some of y'all know, and some of you guys share that residency with me. And one of the biggest things that I've just been frustrated about is with the new incoming governor. Everybody's talking about the taxes and how everything's going to be it would be less affordable now, and I agree with them. And everybody's wondering who could vote for all this. And it's like, what they voted for was because if you watched all the campaigning from the governor on down to all the delegates and all of the local races, the overwhelming theme that they all rode on was abortion. They rode on that more than anything else. And it was awful. You try to explain that to a kid because that's all they're seeing on the news. You have to explain to them, well, when a mama and daddy love each other very much, but they don't really want to, they don't really want a kid, they decide, well, thanks, but no thanks. And they don't. Right. So it's, and you kind of see, it's like, this is a society. This is the same thing that we were seeing with child sacrifice. Or you look at what's going on in, places like San Francisco, Miami, or just, nationwide and Western culture wide, is the secularization of the culture is well in hand. And we hope that there is a return to God, where we see folks like, there's folks like me, and I think Veritax maybe, I'm not sure, Veritex, correct me if I'm wrong, we're cradle Christians. But then we've got other folks who, may have come along at some point in their lives, and then maybe newer Christians like Mordred and Nico in here. We've got a range of people here, but we want to see that growth of Christianity that we see uh here, right? With see people come into Christ, they're looking for something. I don't want to see anybody apostatize. I don't want to see anybody reject God and fall away. Even, I mean, look, there's a lot of people out there that frustrate the crap out of me. There's a lot of people out there that I just think aren't any are just bad, mean spirited people. But you know what? I'm sure I come across that way to others as well. I get very fired up when I see God attacked or Christianity attacked, or I see fighting within the denominations, when we're at each other's throats, when we've got plenty of unbelievers out there we need to be scurrying to grab, um, instead of fighting each other over it, fighting each other over what we disagree with. And so, but and I get it that not everybody's going to be saved, and you know there are many who won't make it, but that doesn't stop my desire for people to turn back, and folks who uh live a life that's godless, and they see that it's empty and they come back. That's such a win. That's that's such a great thing to see. And that's one of the great things I love. We at the church that I go to, we I'm trying to remember, we had a ton of baptisms this past year, right? And you hope that in the I was like, let me back up before the hope. The cynical mind, which I'll let myself drifting from time to time, goes, well, they're just feeling it in the moment. And, not everybody, but, some of these folks are just feeling it in the moment. They're doing it because their friends are doing it, or they're doing it because they're in a low part, and then they just drift off. The hope is that each and every one of them has received the Holy Spirit and is living a better life because of it, and will be received into heaven. That they live a better life than myself, a more obedient life. So, Lord knows I could be better. So that's it's just we see all this and this is me way off and digressed from where we started, but you see the wickedness. We talk about the wickedness that the Israelites are into, and the Hebrews have committed, and we look at today's culture and say we're just, and they're celebrated. They celebrate it. And it was like the left is, with stuff like abortion and homosexuality. It's like it's a sacrament. It's almost like it's part of their own religion. And it's not necessarily it's or sexual immorality in general. It's a right. It's an entitlement. It's something that needs to be, you know, worn. And it's just deeply disappointing, and you hate to see it, right? The expression "cradle Christians" comes from you've been a Christian since you were a baby. Your parents been taking you to church since you were born. You were raised in the church, and for the most part, in my opinion, for the most part, never left it. Never left the faith. All right, let's go. Playing Warhammer, fantasy or 40K? Playing Warhammer as I'm listening to this, very fitting. Also think most of what happens is because they wanted to do things their own way rather than listen to God. Oh, Slanesh, am I right? Jesus called them stiff-necked for a reason. To be fair, we Americans, yeah, I would say Jesus called us stiff-necked, right? Because to be fair, we Americans are just as bad here. Some people are so evil and entrenched in their sin that they will fall even deeper down the hole trying to escape from the consequences of it. Yeah, I do think that they can almost try to find comfort in it. And I just don't see where that will accomplish their goal. And I feel like they'll ultimately just feel even emptier and worse about it. So, all right. Well, that's a good little intro. Good little build up, warm up before we get into reading tonight. And we will we already discussed a little bit of Ezekiel that he's been talking about. This is what the Hebrews have been doing to earn God's wrath. And again, last night really just that one verse that really just stuck with me in Ezekiel 6, where God said, how I have been broken by their lewdness and their adulterous hearts, which have turned them away from me, and by their eyes, which lust after their idols. And kind of what you were saying, Mordecai, uh, they will loathe themselves for the evils which they have committed for all their repulsive acts. But what do they do from that? Will they dig deeper down, double down into that, or will they seek redemption, seek forgiveness and grace? So, all right. Ezekiel 7, punishment for wickedness foretold. Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, also, son of man, thus says the Lord God to the land of Israel, an end. The end is coming on the four corners of the land. Now the end is upon you, and I will send my anger against you, and will judge you in accordance with your ways, and I will bring retribution for all your abominations upon you. For my eye will have no pity on you, nor will I spare you. But I will repay you for your evil ways, while your abominations are among you, and you will know, recognize, understand without any doubt that I am the Lord. Thus says the Lord God, a disaster is coming, one so destructive and injurious, so sudden and violent that it stands alone, a unique disaster. Look, it is coming. An end is coming. The end has come. It is awakened against you. Look, it has come. Your doom has come to you, O inhabitant of the land. The time has come. The day is near. Tumult rather than joyful shouting on the mountains. Now I will soon pour out my wrath on you and spend my anger against you. And I will judge you in accordance with your ways, and I will repay you with punishment for all your outrageous acts. My eye will show no pity, nor will I spare you. I will repay you in accordance with your ways, while your abominations are in your midst. Then you will know and understand that it is I, the Lord, who strikes you. So I'm gonna no, it's not. Well, yeah, well, we'll pause here, right? So God's continuing on what he's been saying, what he's been saying in chapters 5 and 6, talking to the people. And it's the hand is coming down, the belt, as it were, the belt, the spanking is coming, the punishment is coming, the rod, I guess, if we want to be biblical about it, is not being spared at this point. And God sounds very angry. And this seems a very controlled, not to say that God's ever out of control, but it seems a very directed, pointed, and well communicated reasoning why. Will soon pour out my wrath, and he says basically the same thing. There is not going to be any confusion that what's happening to you isn't because of me. That the what is happening is by my design. Again, like I said, it feels very personal. And he's hurt. I feel like that there's genuine hurt in God that has brought this about. Because what has He done for the Hebrews? What has He done for the tribes of Israel? And we're not saying that God is vulnerable, that He's vincible at any reason, but He's feeling that. You get the impression He's feeling that emotion, and certainly He knows that this was going to happen. He always knew that this was going to happen. But again, that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. That doesn't mean it doesn't upset you. It doesn't mean that it doesn't disappoint you or make you sad when you're going through it. If any of y'all have dealt with the impending loss of a family member or a friendship that was just on the way, that just continued to go spiral out, or a friend who continually or friend or loved one who continuously falls into addiction, and your relationship with them, it's just you know what's going on. It doesn't make it easier. It doesn't take that pain or hurt away. It's still there. And God is, look, this is necessary. This is not just necessary for you. This is necessary as an example for the people who come after you, for the people outside of you chosen people, for these Gentiles who will soon be brought into the fold as well, or offered that salvation. What's going on, Matt? Behold the day, behold, it is coming. Your doom has gone forth. The rod has blossomed. Arrogance has sprouted. Violence has grown into a rod of wickedness. None of them, Israel, will remain. None of their people, none of their wealth, nor anything eminent among them. The time has come. The day has arrived. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is against all their multitude of people. For the seller will not regain and return to what he sold, even were they yet alive. For the vision of punishment regarding all the multitude of people will not be turned back, nor will any of them sustain his life because of his sin. Very much sounds like this very much sounds like Jeremiah, right? When he's like, or parts in Jeremiah where God is saying this stuff is going to happen, but warn them, give them that opportunity. Sham shields where? But it also sounds like Jeremiah. Oh, yeah. Sham. He got me. But Jeremiah is telling him, it's like, look, I'm going to go to God for you guys, but you're not going to listen, right? It's just that understanding that this is how far we've come down. There's hope, but there's really no hope. In fact, that or in the idea that these folks are going to recognize their failings and change their ways. Oh, do they now? I just still see a wrench. They have blown the trumpet and have made everything ready, but no one is going to battle. For my wrath is against all their multitude of people. The sword is outside, and virulent disease and famine are within. He who is in the field will die by the sword, and famine and disease will devour those in the city. Even when their survivors escape, they will be on the mountains like doves in the valleys, all of them moaning, each over his punishment for sin. All hands will hang limp, and all knees will be weak as water. They will also cover themselves with sackcloth. Horror will overwhelm them, and shame will be on all faces, and baldness on all their heads as evidence of grief. They will fling their silver into the streets, and their gold will be discarded like something unclean. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to save them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. These things cannot satisfy their soul, nor fill their stomachs, for they have become their stumbling block and source of sin. That's right. You're not buying your way out of this. Okay. You have held on to the silver and gold and because this is not just the immorality the sexual immorality that I was referring to, or the idols, but it's also been the way that they've treated each other. They've been rotten to each other. They've been stealing from each other, defrauding their neighbor, not looking out for the widow or orphan, not taking care for the vulnerable within their nation, within their society. They've run over them. They've taken these blessings that God has given them and they've hoarded it to themselves, pushing away the others when they were really meant to enjoy it all together. Not in a communist way, but in a way it was, hey, I've been blessed greatly. Let me help out my fellow man. Let me look after the children. Let me look after the elderly who have not been blessed as greatly as I have. They don't. What's mine is mine. And it's staying that way. And they walk right over each other if they give themselves a chance. And now that punishment is here, they're going to throw everything out. Oh, no, it doesn't matter to me. No. It doesn't matter to God is what it doesn't matter. It has no value to him. Money is a means. It is not a testament to righteousness. The temple profaned. As for the beauty of gold for ornaments, they turned it to pride, and from it made images of their repulsive things, idols, and of their vile things. Therefore, I will make it an unclean thing to them. I will give it into the hands of strangers, Babylonians, as plunder, and to the wicked of the earth as spoil. They shall profane it. I will also turn my face away from them, and they will desecrate my secret treasure, the Jerusalem temple, and robbers will enter irreverently into it, the Holy of Holies, and violate it. Prepare the chain for imprisonment, for the land is full of bloody crimes, murders committed under the pretense of civil justice, and the city is full of violence. Therefore, I will bring the worst of the Gentile nations, and they will take possession of their houses, those of the people of Judah. I will also silence their pride, and their holy places will be profaned. When anguish comes, they of Judah shall seek peace, but there will be none. Disaster will come upon disaster, and rumor will be heaped on rumor. They will seek a vision from a prophet, but the law and guidance will be lost from the priest, and wise counsel will cease from the elders. The king of Judah will mourn, and the prince Zedekiah will be clothed with garments of despair and anguish, and the hands of the people of the land shall tremble in terror. I will deal with them in accordance with their conduct, and by their judgments I will judge them, and they will know without any doubt that I am the Lord. God's a real one, right? He is very poignant with his with some of his pronouncements. He finishes a thought or pronouncement, and he goes, and you will know, and they will know, and everybody will know that I am the Lord. I am very, very intentional about this, right? That's God. And what he's talking about, and look, he talks about irreverently and violate and desecrate the Jerusalem temple. It's nothing that hasn't already been done by the Hebrews already. The priests were already doing vile things in the temple. They were already doing their own thing. It was so bad, in fact, throughout the kingdoms, even in Judah, that Josiah didn't even know what was written in the book of Moses. And when they were reading, and when the priest was reading it to him, he's like, "Oh no, what have we done?" Right? He's got that moment. It didn't. That didn't just. He didn't just get the Men in Black flash and forget everything up to a point. He was raised with that being unknown to him. And it wasn't just him, that would have been the society as a whole. How do you react to these things? Do you react like Josiah? And you go, "Oh, what have I been doing? I need to change my ways. I need to fix my path. Lord, forgive me. Forgive us. We'll make it better." Or, well, and you've heard it before, and maybe maybe years ago, maybe you would have said the same thing if you were not a believer. "Oh, I can't go to church. I'd just I'd just burst into flames if I walked into a church. I'm that bad." Look, I think that if you haven't been watching the news lately, none of those protesters that interrupted the church in Minneapolis, none of them burst into flames. So you'll be fine. Okay. And their entire purpose there was to interrupt the worship of God. So yeah, if the Israelites were desecrating their the temple that they had dedicated to God by doing godless things and worshiping idols there, yeah, how much do you think God values it at that point? All right. Vision of repulsive acts in Jerusalem. Oh, okay, we're going and keeping on with the theme here. It came about in the 6th year of the captivity of King Jehoiachin, in the 5th day of the 6th month, as I sat in my house near Babylon, with the elders of Judah sitting before me, that the hand of the Lord God fell on me there. Then I looked, and behold, a likeness of a man with the appearance of fire. From his loins downward, he was like fire, and from his loins upward, he had the appearance of brightness, like gleaming metal bronze. He stretched out the form of a hand and took me by a lock of the hair on my head, and the Spirit lifted me up between earth and heaven and brought me the visions of God to Jerusalem. Or brought in me visions of God to Jerusalem, to the entrance of the north gate and the inner courtyard, where the seat of the idol image of jealousy, which provokes to jealousy, was located. And behold, the glory and brilliance of the God of Israel, who had loved and chosen them, was there, like the vision which I saw in the plain. And then he said to me, "Son of man, now raise your eyes towards the north." And so I looked toward the north, and behold, to the north of the altar gate was this idol image of jealousy at the entrance. Furthermore, he said to me, "Son of man, do you see what they are doing? The great repulsive acts which this house of Israel is committing here to drive me far away from my sanctuary? But you will again see greater repulsive acts." Then he brought me to the entrance of the courtyard, and when I looked, behold, there was a hole in the wall. And he said to me, "Son of man, now dig into the wall." When I had dug into the wall, behold, there was an entrance. And he said to me, "Go in and see the wicked, repulsive acts that they are committing here." So I entered and looked, and saw every kind of creeping things, and beasts, and loathsome things, and all the idols of the house of Israel carved all around on the wall. Standing before these images were 70 elders of the house of Israel, and among them stood Jezaniah, the son of Shaphan, the scribe, each man with his censer in his hand, and a thick and fragrant cloud of incense was rising as they prayed to these gods. Then he said to me, "Son of man, do you see what the elders of the house of Israel do in the dark, each man in his secret room of carved images? For they say, 'The Lord does not see us, yet the Lord has abandoned the land.'" Sorry, I misspoke. "For they say, 'The Lord does not see us, the Lord has abandoned the land.'" He also said to me, "Yet again you will see even greater repulsive acts which they are committing." Then he brought me to the entrance of the north gate of the Lord's house, and behold, women were sitting there weeping for Tammuz. He said to me, "Do you see this, son of man? Yet you will see still greater repulsive acts than these that they are committing. So he brought me to the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the entrance to the temple of the Lord, between the porch, the vestibule portico, and the bronze altar, there were about 25 men with their backs to the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they were bowing down toward the east and worshiping the sun. He said to me, "Do you see this, son of man? Is it too slight a thing for the house of Judah to commit the repulsive acts which they have committed here, that they have filled the land with violence and repeatedly provoked me to anger? And behold, they are putting the branch to their nose. Therefore, I indeed will deal in my wrath. My eyes will have no pity, nor will I spare them. And though they cry loudly in my ears, yet I will not listen to them." Yeah, you're right, Matthew. 24 is brutal. 16 is brutal, or 17 and 18 are brutal as well. Just some housekeeping here. Uh, let's see. The image of jealousy. God does not tolerate the transfer of the honor and worship that is due him to any other being or object. Okay, so any other, just basically idolatry, right? 8:14 Tammuz, because I didn't understand that. So he brought the women were sitting there weeping for Tammuz, a Babylonian god whose supposed death each summer caused the vegetation to wilt and die. In the spring, he returned from the underworld, bringing rain and new growth. His worship also involved fertility rituals. Well, can't say that I'm surprised there. All has to do with one thing. Oh, and the last, they are putting the branch to their nose. The pagan object of worship is uncertain, but the act was contemptuous to God. Okay, so that's something that they were doing as part of their ritualistic behavior. But this is what we see, right, guys? This is what we see. A people who had given themselves over to things that were not God at all. And the excuse that some of them, that the elders give at some point, is, well, God's left this place. He's turned away. Do you really think so? Do you really think God's left this place? He's sending prophets, bringing warnings to you to turn away from these things. And again, I think the folks who just want to ignore it, ignore the warnings, and those who are like Saul, King Saul. That's like, oh, I'm messed up. God's given up on me. I'm just going to continue doing what I want. Can't get any worse for me. Yeah, maybe it can't get any worse for you, but it could be better. It could get better for you. A little bit of just show some humility. Stop thinking for yourself. If we're thinking about yourself. Stop looking to serve just what's yours. This is something that goes beyond pleasures of the flesh. This is something that goes beyond just idolatry. It's how we treat each other. And how God instructed us to live with each other. And what we see here is a rejection of God and each other. What nation is left at that point? It's a nation in name only. So, all right, that's our reading tonight. Matt Baratax, Nico Mordred. Good seeing you, buddy. Alias, who was in here at some point. Yeah, stop. Just saying hi. Great chat tonight. It's always good. Always good when you guys are here. And I appreciate you, as I always do. And look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night, because I do plan on streaming as well. Look, I got to get as much streaming in before this super blizzard comes and hits and wipes us all away. So at least here on the East Coast, in the Mid-Atlantic or whatever. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, just glad you guys are here. For those of you who are just listening and not able to comment, don't want to comment, that's fine. I'm just glad you're here and you found the place that you like coming back to, and you enjoy hearing what we're discussing. And all you folks who are catching this on replay, hey, thank you for watching. Sorry I missed you. I hope to catch you live sometime soon. Everybody have a good night. God bless.